Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a hot button topic, at least within the homeschool world, and that topic is preschool. Should you preschool? How should you preschool? Some people have some very strong opinions about preschools, and so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts as we are rounding out the final time I am going through preschool. So I definitely have grown and I've learned some things over the years, but also I do plan on sharing all of the resources we have tried over the years. There's a number of them and I love them all equally differently, and I'm just going to share that with you as well. So hopefully this is a useful video, one, to just kind of unpack some thoughts, but two, to give you some ideas for preschool, especially if you want to lean that direction. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've been coming for a while. So like I said, we're talking preschool today. We're talking about all of my thoughts about preschool. How has it worked out? What have I loved? Things like that. But specifically, I guess, what I'm going to be covering is some positive aspects of preschool, why you might want to, as well as maybe some reasons not to preschool. So some things to consider about yourself as the homeschool parent. And then I'm going to end it all with my resources. All the resources we have used. I have made lots of videos and I will link all of those down below. Okay, let's get into some positive aspects of preschool. There's so many. It's just such a fun time in homeschool. I'd say the first thing is you can definitely honor their excitement. So some kids are very excited to start school, especially those with older siblings who are currently homeschooling. It's like those kiddos, they want their own workbooks and school and all this stuff. So I feel like doing preschool with those younger kids can really honor that, and you can encourage the fact that they want to learn. You're not like just shutting them down and telling them that school is not for them. You know what I mean? So you can honor their excitement, as well as they get some special time with mom. And maybe that is part of the excitement too, is that they see that their older siblings are getting this one-on-one time. They're getting a lot of your attention, a lot of your time. And if they do preschool, if they get to do school, they get you too. And I think that's really important. That's important to remember and consider, that it's not just school, it's relationship building too, especially with those younger years when they're just really learning the basics, and they will learn them at some point. So it's not like a dire, you need to get to everything right now sort of season. It's just a real joyful season. Preschool also sets some habits for homeschooling. So say they are interested, they're excited, you can set some rhythms and routines for your family, even if they're maybe your firstborn and you haven't done any homeschool with anybody yet. Some of those preschool years can help you teach them those rhythms, regardless of the fact that they are very short time frames. You can start to teach those habits that will help you later on as you continue to homeschool. And then you can also look at preschool for what it is, right? It's early learning. It's really exposure to some of those basic early learning concepts. And I think depending on how well you do that, you can really establish an excitement for learning. For example, you can make them so excited to one day be able to read. You could be like, you are gonna read, you're gonna read some of these books, and you can just build this excitement in them. And so then when you do get to like learning the letters and things like that, they have like the motivation because they know why they're trying to learn these letters. They know what the goal is. They're really excited for that. And it's like a little bit of motivation. I mean, not serious motivation, but it's something that preschool can definitely foster. Another thing about preschool that I want to mention that is definitely in my positive list is that it's a very forgiving year. Like what I mean by that is it's like, yeah, you can start with all the best intentions. You can have plans and goals and curriculum and whatever you decide to do for preschool, but it's forgiving in the sense that it's not a make or break. You don't have to do it. So if like seasons of life come up or if sickness comes up, and as long as you can keep that very positive overarching goal of just encouragement and excitement and exposure, then I feel like preschool's a wonderful year. I feel like it's a wonderful year. But say you're coming to it from a different point of view, then maybe preschool isn't exactly the right fit. It really depends. I feel like there's a lot of kind of reflection, mom reflection, teacher reflection as to why you want to preschool. I feel like some more negative reasons for wanting to preschool may be that you're trying to make sure they don't get behind. You're trying to make sure they know the things they need to know. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing to kind of have a plan, it depends on how tightly you hold your plan. Like if you are so tightly holding the fact that they need to learn their letters by the end of preschool before they can go into kindergarten, there's this huge list of kindergarten readiness skills. Like if you're kind of holding to that in a very black and white way, like I must check off all the things on my little readiness skill list here, then your preschool might not be as joy-filled or bring you all the benefits that you desire or that you feel like preschool should bring if you're holding to that reason. Now, I am never going to say that like goals and standards and things are not important, because I do like that. I like having those frameworks more so than some homeschoolers. There are a number of homeschoolers that are a lot more loose than I am. I do like those standards, but I know that when it comes to preschool, those standards could get in your way depending on how strictly you hold to them. So I'd say that was my only caution. All right, so those are kind of like some bigger picture preschool thoughts. Obviously, I land more on the like, I love preschool. I think it's a beautiful time. I don't feel like I need to push them in any way. And so we can take it or leave it as needed. And so what have we used though? What curriculums, what programs have I used? Now, I should give the little disclaimer that of course you don't need a program. You don't, right? I like having programs. So there's nothing wrong with that either. So please don't fall into the rabbit trail of like feeling guilty that you're getting a program for your preschooler when everybody's like, you don't need a program, right? If you need a program, you need a program. For me, I do better with programs. I do better with structure. I do better with a little bit of guidance. Now, do I stick to that? No, I have learned over the years that no, I don't need to stick to that tightly. I can use the curriculum how I need to, but I do like having it. And so I have tried out some amazing programs for preschool, you guys. Currently, what I have been using with my twins has been a combination that I have really enjoyed, but it's really specific to my family and my kids. So take all of this with a grain of salt. So currently we are using the Abeka program as well as the Sonlight program. And I use them in combination, even though I don't necessarily need to. I love Sonlight for its books and its resources and just all the stories that come with the Sonlight program. Now, the Sonlight preschool and pre-K programs, I've used both. They do come with extra resources, extra early learning resources like numbers and letters and developmental readiness sheets and things like that. It comes with all of that. So you could totally do Sonlight for that. I've just always really liked the way Abeka teaches phonics, so I decided to try out some of their earlier programs, mostly for the phonics. So I have picked up a few resources from the Abeka preschool, mostly the alphabet animal flashcards and the learning development cards. We used them a little bit, but that again was when they were like 3, 4 years old. And for those time frames, I really wasn't too worried. I focused a lot more on books and stories. And then for this current year, we have been using the Abeka K4 program, and we have stuck a little closer to it than I did with their preschool program. But again, I haven't been pushing it either. Like, we're a little further in the math and the numbers than we are in the phonics. We're like halfway through for phonics, but I'm not too worried. We're just gonna finish what we can finish, and then we'll jump into the next program. Like, I'm not feeling like I need to finish it all, because Abeka does a ton of spiraling. But why I decided to use it is I like the way it starts setting that foundation for the Abeka K5 and the grade 1, which is their big phonics programs, which have worked for my other kids. So I feel like for my family, just kind of setting them up with a little bit of Abeka foundation in these preschool years has been really good. And they love it, you guys. They love their little workbooks where they get to circle like what word starts with the sound of B. They enjoy counting the number of umbrellas and circling the number that is correct. They like the worksheets. I don't do them every day. I do them kind of sporadically, and that might be why they still like them. I feel like if we were doing them every day, they would definitely get overwhelmed and too much, but it's more for fun, and I bring them out every once in a while. We're not gonna come even close to finishing those little workbooks. And so that's pretty much how I've approached preschool with my twins. Now, I did do a little bit of preschool with my older kids as well. And so I used some different resources because I was inspired by different things like 3 or 4 years ago when I was doing preschool with my older kids. And so what we started with, you guys, it's a beautiful program. It's called A Year of Playing Skillfully. I will definitely link it below, but I did make a whole video on toddler curriculum. I think I mentioned it in there. Basically like your 2-3-year-old stuff. And the Year of Playing Skillfully was beautiful for that. It's very hands-on. It's very art, as well as a little bit of language, a little bit of math. It's very, I'm not even actually sure what style of preschool it would fall into, but it's just really a natural way of teaching. Like, it's like some people are gifted and could just come up with these ideas to do with their 2 or 3-year-olds, or they'd go on Pinterest and come up with ideas. But what I felt like this program did a really good job of was organizing all those ideas into month-by-month learning, and it was really fun. We used a lot of it. So that really was the first preschool program we started with. We also did the Gentle and Classical Preschool, which I've done a number of videos on all of her stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Charlotte Mason flair as well as the classical memorization flair to all of her stuff. We used the nature program alongside of it, and it was just wonderful. It was a very natural way of teaching. And I really enjoyed that, especially when my bigger kids were younger. Like, I had a little bit more time. The twins were very young, so we just could take them along with us to do all these things in like parks and nature walks, or go through the board of different character traits and memory work and all of these things that this program was. I just really enjoyed it, and it was perfect for that season. And it could be really perfect for you if you tend that direction to teach in kind of a more like natural, beautiful way. But it did take a little bit more planning and organizing than other programs. And so for me, it just was a little too much to do while I have bigger kids in these past 2 years with my twins. So we went a different direction, but I still do recommend it, and I really did enjoy it. Okay, the other program I did use that is not quite that natural learning style, it is the All About Reading pre-reading. I don't know if I have ever made a video on this, but I did use this my first year with my son, and he really did enjoy it. He really enjoyed Ziggy, the little puppet, right? He enjoyed the book with all the stories that had to do with the alphabet. He enjoyed the little cards that we got to like hide around the room and play different games with. Like, I thought it was a really good exposure to pre-reading. Now, I'm not sure if it like really set the stage to help him read. I think he was just a kiddo that was going to read a little bit later anyway, but I enjoyed the program and I thought it was very worthwhile. So that's another preschool option that's really more focused on phonics specifically, not kind of the whole picture, which A Year of Playing Skillfully as well as Gentle and Classical Preschool were kind of the whole thing. Your science, your language, your math, kind of everything. And then we did do another program that is maybe more kindergarten than preschool, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I feel like it was really fun and my kids really enjoyed it. And it was the Build Your Library Level 0 program, and it was around the world. So you got to study all the different continents, and you had lots of good books, which is what I really have always loved Build Your Library for, is the book list. And so she had lots of good books picked out so you could read about the cultures, you could read about folklore and things like that. And so I would put it definitely on the level of like the Sonlight level for those like pre-K, especially. I feel like those are kind of similar. The level 0 and the pre-K are pretty similar, and they're really both wonderful programs just for, again, exposure, excitement, just really getting their feet wet with school and just bringing them into your homeschool or starting your oldest kid with preschool. And so I feel like those were my options. Those are the things I have used consistently. I have never been the type of mom that has been very good at like, I'm just going to pick up a couple dollar store workbooks and we're just going to work through that. I just never do that kind of stuff. So I like the programs that give me a little bit more structure, and all of these did. And all of them have worked really well for just early learning and excitement. So I hope this has been helpful. One, just to encourage you if you are feeling like maybe you want to preschool and you're not sure if, well, should I just wait? There's certain philosophies that say you shouldn't even start until they're 6 years old. I'd say lean into what feels right to you, and then make it work in your family with your kids and your personality. And I think you'll do great. So let me know down below if you have any questions, or just add comments of other preschool programs you guys have really enjoyed, and people can find other recommendations down there. But otherwise, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to. All right, guys, I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, bye.